As predicted in this here draw, perfectly predicted I may add, right here, Coffee Break Tennis, Carlitos Alcaraz has defeated Medvedev in one semifinal, while Novak Djokovic has defeated Jannik Sinner in the other semifinal, and we have it, this year's Wimbledon final. 2023 Wimbledon is the match we all were hoping for, Djokovic versus Carlitos Alcaraz. There's a lot on the line in this match. The winner will be number one in the world. They have played two times before, obviously last year in the 6-7, 7-5, 7-6, all sevens in that scoreline, best of three at Madrid last year where Alcaraz won. And of course the match just last month at the French Open semifinal where it looked like maybe Alcaraz could win until he started cramping up and Djokovic dismissed him with a couple of baguettes in the fourth and the fifth set, 6-1, 6-1 if you don't know the baguette tennis lingo. Anyways, there's a little French Open lingo specifically there. Breadstick everywhere else is usually what we say. There's more on the line for Novak Djokovic to me, and more important than that. Of course, he's going to tie Roger Federer's records, his two most special records. 8 Wimbledons won, 5 Wimbledons won in a row. Djokovic can tie those records tomorrow and give himself a chance to beat both of those very special Roger Federer records next year. Now, tomorrow is a very big match, but yesterday was also a very big match. Yesterday, 4 years ago, was this day. 4 years ago today, this is a post from Tennis Legend on the Instagram yesterday. 4 years ago today, the day that still haunts Roger Federer fans, Novak Djokovic won his 16th Grand Slam title, 13-12, and the 5th after saving 2 match points at 8-7 in the longest final in the history of Mr. Wimbledon's. Remember this lady? Drinking her beers, holding up her finger, one more point for Roger to win. And Djokovic saw her, as he often does see people in the crowd who heckle him or say something negative towards him. And he gave this little face, and then he was eating grass only a couple hours later. A couple hours, hour and a half, something like that. Hour later. Doesn't matter how long it was. Djokovic did it. Now, that was the last time we had a match this big at Wimbledon. And that's why I'm wearing my special Roger Federer shirt today to honor the man because he put up a great fight and was, as we know, this close to maybe locking down his legacy as the greatest, right? Djokovic would have a hard time going for 5 in a row. He won in 2018, the first of these 5 being tomorrow if he wins again. And that was number 2. He'd have to start all over, not 2020, but in 2021. He would be going for 3 in a row if history stayed exactly the same. And let's say Federer won on 2019 and walked away. There would have been a strong case for Roger Federer to keep his Wimbledon records if he could have just won that match, if he could have won the match, if he could have just won one more point on his serve. So I have that on today to honor Roger Federer and say, hey, as a Fed fan, he gave it his best, and he's obviously always going to be second best at Wimbledon. Maybe Alcaraz can save that record for Roger Federer. We shall find out tomorrow. Now, with all the excitement going on, and one last thing on that. This is the biggest match since that match because think about it. In 2019, it was really hard to be sure who was going to win. No one was sure. Such a hard match to call. I called Federer wins in 5. And obviously, a lot of people said, Matt, that's crazy. If it goes that long, Djokovic will win because, Federer's old and stuff like that. And Djokovic is in better shape or something like that, better fitness level. Then 2020, we skip it. 2021, who won? What was it? Obviously, Djokovic won, but it was Berrettini. 2022 was Kyrgios last year. We knew Djokovic was going to win those for sure. But I feel like tomorrow, I know a lot of people out there are just saying Djokovic is going to win no matter what. But more than last year and the year before with Berrettini and Kyrgios, a lot of fans are probably unsure. Count me as one of them. I'm a little scared as a born-again Djokovic fan. As a Fed head for life, but a born-again Djokovic fan as well. I'm a big 3 fan, to be honest. As a big 3 fan. See, I said it 3 times. Or did I say it 4 times? Anyways, as a big 3 fan, I want to see Djokovic tomorrow win, and I'm a little nervous. Alcaraz, I think, will have a real shot, but we'll look at some numbers and talk about that. And, that's not what people are talking about in the comments section. No. They weren't talking about the big, colossal match, Djokovic versus Carlos Alcaraz. They were criticizing me because of this. Now, see this kid? I thought this was Djokovic's son. ESPN showed it like it was his son and some other kid. It wasn't this much of a close-up when I saw it and said that, okay, I didn't get this good of a look. Obviously, he kind of looks like Djokovic, but not a lot. I think this is either the son of somebody in Djokovic's team, but I've heard that maybe this is his nephew. So Djokovic is related to this kid. Can't fault me too much. But as you see, all kinds of comments, everyone faulting me, including this one. Dude, those kids were not Nole's kids. I love your show, but come on, man, do better. I did my best in the quarterfinals, but in the semifinals, I am going to do better, thanks to Christo01 and his comment. Here's another one, Vlad Pete. That's not Novak's kids. You can see there's tons of them. Well, I'm not going to make that mistake again because check it out. Look who was there in the semifinals yesterday. None other than the son of Carlitos Alcaraz. And you know how I know? That other kid, he looked like Djokovic a little bit, but Carlos' son here is so obviously Carlos' son because he looks just like him. Can you believe this is the first time I've actually drank coffee this whole Wimbledon? Seriously, I think I've had either beer or sparkling mineral Wasser from Italia or spring water from the French Alps, Swiss Alps, one of them. I think that's all I've had this week. It's been wild, but hey, today we got a video up, or we're working on a video early enough to have some actual coffee, and it's my Roger That cup, because Roger That, we see the signals out there. We see what's happening in the tennis world, and it looks like Djokovic is on the cusp of taking over. Yeah, I'm going to pick Djokovic to win tomorrow, but I'm nervous as a born-again Djokovic fan indeed. Let's look at a stat. Now, I said to you a couple days ago before this match, before the Sinner and Djokovic match, I said, look at the stats. For the whole tournament, Sinner is winning more, I think, definitely on first serve. I think maybe on second serve as well. Either way, it was close there. But first serve, Sinner was winning more than Djokovic. And I said, now these two are the best returners in the draw, probably. I mean, Djokovic definitely. And I'm trying to think, is anyone ahead of Sinner in return department at Wimbledon? Not Medvedev, not the way he was standing at the wall the entire match. That didn't really work out very well. You know, Martina Navratilova, I heard she called that in the beginning of the tournament. First or second round, even though Medvedev won, she said, you're not going to do very well on grass returning from the fence, from the wall, whatever she said. She said, returning that far away is not going to do very well for you on grass. I remember thinking like, well, there's not a lot of great grass players anymore, Martina, so Meds is still going to win a lot. But yeah, when you go up against someone who can return outstanding, I mean, someone who can serve outstanding, and forget the serve, just when you go up against someone who's going to be able to take advantage of that, who has the skill set to take advantage of your return position, like Carlos Alcaraz and Djokovic both have, it's not going to work on grass, not able to recover fast enough. Anyways, look at this stat. Like I said, Sinner was doing better on first serve than Djokovic, and Djokovic's returning is going to be better. It's going to hurt that number more. It actually didn't. We'll look closer at the stats later in the show, but this definitely made its mark on Sinner. 40% of his serves completely unreturned. He didn't have to make a move, do anything throughout the whole tournament. When he faces Novak Djokovic, that number was almost cut in half. 22% of his serves were good enough to not come back from the Joker. But of course, almost 80% of those were put in play. Even if Sinner won more of them, I think he was 1% more than Djokovic in this match, win on first serve. Those are the kind of things that help you when you're nervous. If you're nervous and you pop in a big serve and it doesn't come back, that's a lot of relief there. When it's getting tight at the end of the set, you kind of need those points sometimes. Djokovic, even though Sinner still won a lot on first serve, on the big moments, it was a lot less likely that serve was going to be unreturned for Sinner, and he had to actually play Novak Djokovic in a rally on a big point in a big moment at the end of the first, second, whenever. At the end of a set, in the tiebreak in the third set case, that changes everything when you actually have to play out a rally with Djokovic and you don't just get a free point. Djokovic doesn't let you get so many of those. But here's a stat that stood out to me more. I think I figured out what's wrong with Jannik Sinner. Just read this. Let this sink in. Game, set, facts. Jannik Sinner is coached by Darren Cahill, who also worked with Andy Murray, Leighton Hewitt, and Andre Agassi. The Agassi connection has been spotted again anytime someone works with Agassi directly or works with Agassi in a less direct way, a less direct fashion, such as this. Working with Agassi through proxy, I think you could say that, you're screwed. You got no chance. So that's Sinner's problem. Until he parts way with Darren Cahill, he'll never win a major. Mark my words. By the way, I got to do a commercial really quick. The Patron Saints, special thanks to them. Go to patreon.com/coffeebreaktennis if you want to join them. They are what makes this show go and continue to grow. They fuel me here. It's a lot of work to put together videos like this here at Coffee Break Tennis. So if you want to help us out, check us out. Join the team. Patreon.com/coffeebreaktennis. Become a patron saint today. Join the patron saints. All right, what else do we got for you? Let's dive into some real stats now. And then we can look at some good comments I had. First, this stat, I just thought this was interesting because Djokovic pops up on the list a couple times. We're going to see some more of these entries onto the list of Djokovic playing guys who are much younger. Don't see Nadal on here, but we do see Federer. Now, this is for semifinals. I'd like to see it for finals and quarterfinals as well, but kind of interesting. Some stats on Djokovic's 9th Wimbledon final, 18th appearance. I think he's only lost the time to Andy Murray, 2013. That was 3,659 days ago. So basically 10 years ago. 45 consecutive wins in center court since then for Djokovic. 35th major final, 71st appearance, the most time appearing in major finals. Of course, he's the champion at the Australian and the French. So if he wins this, he's got a chance to do all 4 in 1 year, the Grand Slam, which would definitely close the record books on who's the GOAT forever. Well, unless somebody comes along, unless Carlos Alcaraz beats Djokovic's records 20 years from now. We'll see. Seeking record-tying 24th major title. Oh, he ties Margaret Court, so he can really have no one ahead of him. Men, women, open era, closed era, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's look at some more stuff. Now let's get some real stats. So let's look here. First serve points won. Alcaraz is not on this list. Medvedev made the list, 78%. Sinner, the highest of people who made it deep in the tournament, at least. 83, Djokovic right there with 82% win on first serve. Like I said, Djokovic was unable to best Sinner in that department in their match. We'll take a look at that again because I can't even believe it as I say it. This win on second serve points, I see Alcaraz on this list. He's winning 59% of the time on second serve, whereas Djokovic, he's 62, considerably better. So those stats alone, serve stats are always the most important at Wimbledon, at least when you compare it to other majors. It seems to stand out even more at Wimbledon. Again, we'll look at this one more time. 40% serves unreturned, 22 when he faces Djokovic. So Djokovic made his mark as the greatest returner in the world, as I said, but look at this one right here. First serve points won for Sinner, 76. Djokovic, 75. It's only 1%. It doesn't matter too much. Second serve, Djokovic had him by 4%. Now, as I was saying earlier, it's really nice when you're nervous late in a set and you're facing break points maybe, and you get one of those unreturned serves, one of those serves that pops in. But, that didn't happen as much when you have such great returners on the court, especially with Djokovic being such a great returner, not letting Sinner get so many of those. And when you get to break points, look at this. Sinner had 6 chances, but never can convert. Djokovic always able to stop him. This just shows you Djokovic won this by mental toughness and being much more clutch when he needed it. And then Djokovic only breaks twice. He only breaks twice, but he had more chances, and he was able to convert 2 times, and also he get that tiebreaker. And receiving points won, Djokovic slightly ahead. That's because he did better on second serve. That's what made it 1% in his favor, even though he was 1% behind in the win on first serve. Less winners, but a lot less unforced errors. 10 total points won more by Djokovic. But I remember maybe halfway in the match, they were saying, this is very close. Djokovic is only 5 points ahead of Sinner. Did I say Alcaraz again? But by the end of it, that became 10. Now, this is really a big telling stat that maybe will make Sinner really dangerous. I think Sinner's really good on grass here. Remember, Federer's last big win was Miami. Did he win anywhere else in 2019? Maybe in Basel, Switzerland. But 2019, Miami, I was there, and not in the final, but I saw when he beat Medvedev, and I saw when he played Krajinovic. I think it was Krajinovic. Anyways, in that match, those are the last major results for Federer in his career that year, 2019. He wins Miami Masters, and he almost wins Wimbledon. And those surfaces are kind of similar. That Miami court is low and takes to the slice well. It's a low-bouncing, hard court. And Australian Open also fits in there. And, those are the places where Federer did the best at the end of his career, of course. So when you look at this one, and I was just going to say really quick, think about it. Sinner played Alcaraz and beat him in Miami. you could argue maybe Sinner's going to be the better player at Wimbledon than Alcaraz in the long term of their career. I don't know. But this is one thing that if he gets better, Sinner will be more dangerous. Maybe Sinner will be beating Djokovic next year, 2 years, 3 years from now at Wimbledon. Who knows? If he can fix this. You see, when the balls are up the middle and Sinner's able to take little steps and set up without having to slide, he wins the majority of the points. But when Djokovic moves him around and puts him out on the sides of the court, he has to go into these slides, and he wasn't able to control them. He lost control, wasn't able to recover, and loses the majority of those points. Here's another stat that helped with that. Djokovic mixed up his backhand placement more than Sinner, going cross-court 60% and down the line 40%. So that's a nice, healthy, you want to go cross-court majority of the time. But down the line 40% is a lot of the time. So doing that makes it, if you're always going cross-court, it's easy to kind of set up in that little spot where you can run around and hit some inside-out forehands if the cross-court backhand is too much in the middle. And you're always there to hit a backhand back cross-court. And you're not thinking about running all the way over to the other side, to the other corner, unless that player is good at employing the backhand down the line, which, of course, is one of the things that makes Djokovic so special. So that made Sinner have to run left and right a little bit more, made him slip and fall more, and helped Djokovic, who is the clutcher, more mentally tough player in this match, and also the smarter player when it came to that. All right, let's move on to the Medvedev match. What happened there? Alex Nulia had a great question. Question for Coffee Break Tennis and Mr. Goat. Mr. Goat's asleep upstairs, by the way. For the next episode, why did Medvedev not alter his deep return position early against Alcaraz when it was clearly hurting him? Thank you. I don't know. Like I said, Martina Navratilova called it in the beginning of the tournament. You're not going to win a lot of matches returning from that position on grass. And yeah, that just shows you how weak some of these guys are on grass, that Medvedev was able to beat everyone that he faced until he got to someone who was pretty good on grass and was able to take advantage of that. And with all the variety Alcaraz has between coming to the net and drop shots, he's able to take advantage of that court positioning. And it's not just the return. Take a look at this. Why, Meds? Why? Why didn't he move up a little? Stats, pretty similar overall for the match, except on second serve, right? Medvedev was not able to hurt Alcaraz on first or second serve. He won 70%, a little less than Alcaraz, but he's winning second serve points 30% of the time. And then let's look at it closer. In the first set, second serve points was 38 for Medvedev. I think as he realized that he's not going to get any chances, because look at break points. Where was it? Medvedev really didn't dig into these games too much. He won 32% on return versus Alcaraz's 46% on return. He had 4 chances. He did break a couple times, but he got broke 6 times and had 14 chances to be broken by Alcaraz. And if you look at first set, he's winning 73 and 38, first and second, Medvedev is. Then it's 74 and 33. Then it's 62 and 25. I think it became harder and harder to hold as Medvedev felt more and more frustrated. He's used to getting, we talked about it in last show, Djokovic is used, against Hubie Hurkacz, Djokovic is used to always having looks on return, so it's less stressful to serve. More stressful when it's Hubie Hurkacz and you only get the break. I think he broke him 1 time the whole match. Only twice in this match with Sinner. Sinner was serving really big, Same deal here. I think the longer this went on and Medvedev realized, I'm not getting my usual looks on return. I'm not breaking like I normally do. That put more stress on his serve, and you can see his serving numbers going down, especially that second serve. Going from not very good at 38, but at least you're kind of close to 50%, which is healthy on your second serve. Then 33, and then a horrible 25. And here's the effect. Look at these break points saved. Alcaraz is saving them and not seeing many of them, whereas Medvedev is seeing them a ton. Anyways, there you go. Take a look at the rally position. I think this is the bigger problem. We've seen Nadal return from really far, but Nadal is able to get up on the baseline after the return, or at least get close to it. Medvedev's just that number 35 is too small, and 41 and 24, those numbers are too big. Look how far away he is rallying throughout the match. Anyways, that's enough stats. I got one more stat for you, though, before we go. First man to win all 4 majors at least 3 times. I mean, just one more reason to say this guy is obviously the GOAT now. And if he wins tomorrow, it's pretty much over. If he wins the U.S. Open and tomorrow, anyone who denies Djokovic is the greatest then is just like a lunatic. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the Joker heckling sequence I got here. I don't have the video for you, but I have the pictures. And I love this. I hate it. I've experienced it in Alta matches because here we have a league called Alta where you have 5 teams of, one team versus another team. Neighborhoods play each other, and you have 5 doubles teams. So 10 guys are playing, or girls, or mixed doubles. And you always have, people bring their friends and family, the people who are not playing that day because you need a pretty big team in case there's injuries, people are out of town and can't play. So the people who aren't in the lineup are there a lot of times. They'll have food and drinks, a big spread. So you get a little crowd. I always like playing Alta because, you get to play in front of well, of course, Mr. Goat has got to be here for the most important match of the year. Jump on up, Mr. Goat. One of the most important matches of the year. I guess it's the most important match. I don't know. How about that French Open match? That was pretty dang important. It's all important now as long as Djokovic keeps breaking the records. You want some help, Mr. Goat? There you go. Welcome aboard. Anyways, what was I saying? I can't remember what the heck I was saying before that. Let's just go into the comments. Oh, was I talking about... Yeah, I hate this in Alta. When you double fault or miss a serve or make an unforced error, especially like when you play a long point, you hit all the right shots, you put them out of position, you come into the net. I saw Djokovic do this just the other day. You come to the net and you miss like a little easy volley or an easy overhead, and you clearly were the better player for the whole point. You earned the point. You got your reward in that final shot, and you just weren't able to finish, and then people are cheering like lunatics like the other person just hit a winner or something. I hate that. And I've actually gotten, just like Djokovic style, I've gotten in arguments and fights. I remember one guy took his shirt off and banged on the fence. He said, "You want to go, bro? You want to fight right now?" Like, for real. And I said, "Are you kidding, dude? This is a freaking mixed doubles match. What is wrong with you?" Anyways, I've done that before. I understand how Djokovic does it. So I loved it when this happened. Don't have the audio for you, but I can walk you through it, and you can see in the pictures. Djokovic misses a first serve. It's such a huge point in the match. And someone starts cheering that he missed his first serve. And instead of just waiting a little and taking a second serve, Djokovic looked at him and gives him a clap of the racket and a thumbs up. And then, of course, this face, after he saves the set points in that third set, avoids that and, gets one step closer to a tiebreak. Djokovic says, like, "Oh, are you crying like a baby because the person you don't like didn't lose the set? Because Sinner didn't win the set?" I absolutely love that. All right, going to the comments. Ricard Lopez says, "I love the show. I laughed a lot from the loser boys from Breakpoint. I agree. Nicest is rude. And laughing out loud, that is a terrible fake smile from Fritz. It's hilarious." He's absolutely correct. Ryan Ferrier is French, I think. Maybe, probably not. French guy Ryan says, "As a Fed head, it was a sad day when I had to admit Novak is the GOAT of tennis. Nobody can stop the guy when he is healthy. We shall find out tomorrow if one guy named Alcaraz can stop him when he's healthy." But yeah, seems to be the case. Pousser, another French fan. "Only some 5 years ago, Djokovic had 12 Grand Slams. Now he can have twice as much. Just let that sink in." Holy shnikes. Brandon M. Controversial opinion, but I love this comment. "I think Hurkacz was Djokovic's biggest threat, and I think if he were in the top half, he would make at least the semifinal. While in round 4, Hurkacz had no belief he could beat Djokovic. If they met later in the tournament after he got some bigger wins himself, I think he would have had more confidence and the match could have been even tighter." I think that could be true. Alcaraz might serve great. I don't think he's going to serve better than Hurkacz. I don't think he's going to serve close to Hurkacz. No one's left in the draw. Even Medvedev has a big serve and couldn't put on a serving display like that. This might be true, but Alcaraz does have a few things that can hurt Djokovic. I think Djokovic's comfort level, obviously comfort movement on grass, his comfort with moving on grass, so much better in center, and it worked there. Is it enough compared to Alcaraz? Is it so much better than Alcaraz's movement? I think Alcaraz is moving better on the grass right now than the Sinner is. Sinner might get better at that in the future and be a better player on the grass. But I don't know. It's really hard to say, and these guys are so young. We've only seen so much of them. We're going to learn. We learned a little bit of Alcaraz when he cramped up against Joker last time, because it looked like he could have won that match before that happened. I still would have said Djokovic wins in 5, but it looked like it was possible. Tomorrow, I don't know. I think it's Wimbledon, and that gives Djokovic such an edge with all the experience. But we'll find out. I don't know. It's really hard to call. Estina Medvedev says, "I pray that somehow this masterpiece has reached Novak himself," talking about the Livin' La Vie. I can't say the name, but the music video. This one on the bottom here, Eddie and Carter, he said it. Where's that video at? It's a few videos ago. It says the thumbnail says 23andMe. It's right after Djokovic wins his 23rd major. Here's one I like. Catherine Ann Byam says, "Matt, how come you don't do the women's games? Ons versus Arena was lit." I've answered this question over the years a few times, but it's been a while since I did it. I like women's tennis. I really like watching women's tennis. I like watching men's tennis more. Obviously, I thought I like Ons Jabeur. I actually really like watching her. Anyone who has a nice slice backhand, I always find interesting, especially if you're on a grass or a surface where it works well. Hey, Mr. Go. He's just staring at me. He loves tennis. What can I say? He loves hearing me talk about tennis. Novak Djokovic over here, Mr. Goat. Anyways, it's just too much work. It's so much work to make these videos about the men. If I got to carefully watch the women to know because I like to know what I'm talking about. I watch the matches. That's the only way you can do this show and not sound like you're making it up. Like you don't know what you're talking about, obviously. So I don't have time to watch all the men, all the women, and make these videos and talk about all that. I mean, the videos are already pretty long. Peter Lamb, I was always a Roger fan, but when I saw him with Bill Gates doing all sorts of commercials, like TV stuff, I had to think, what are you doing with this guy? Yeah, it was just it's like a corporate decision. Like, is this on brand with Roger? Does this grow Roger's business? Like I was saying, Djokovic feels a little less like that, and I appreciate that. I still love Roger, and, he is a business, so to some degree, you have to do that, but, I only like to be spoon-fed so much of that stuff. Henry Scher says, are people actually starting to say Alcaraz rather than Alcaraz? And then this is the best comment. One person said, Henry said, oh, it is Henry responding. It's nice they're actually trying to say his name correctly, at least. It is and it isn't, because it's mostly what Alexandrak says. This is happening among English-speaking commentators, and it's very, very cringe. And then finally, Koponic61, good progress, Matt. You hate Novak less and less. Hit the music. We're going to get out of here. Why do people think I hate Novak? I guess it's just a joke at this point. I wanted to show you something very interesting first. Something really interesting is happening in Coffee Break Tennis world. Now, if you look at lifetime viewership, this is inside baseball stuff here. People watching Coffee Break Tennis, where are they the most? United States, 21% lifetime for the channel. India, because of our appreciation of Desi culture here, because of Roger Federer, India loves Roger Federer. We've always been the most popular tennis talk show in India. The United Kingdom at 7, Australia at 5.5, Canada 4.7, places where they like tennis. In Serbia, 4.2, Deutschland 2.8, they like me there. And Philippines 2.2, France, they like me there too. And Nederlandisch, they also like me there too. Now look at this. If we go to recent time, what has happened? Well, things have totally changed. In the last 4 weeks, Serbia has gone from 4% of the audience to over 16, almost tying the United States, where I'm from, where I post these videos. Coffee Break Tennis has become the most popular tennis talk show in all of Serbia, which is amazing because you know why I think that happens? I think it's just because I'm honest, and most people aren't, and I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch other tennis talk shows on YouTube or wherever. I think Chris Fowler, John McEnroe, Patrick McEnroe, those guys from ESPN, I think they've been giving Djokovic his credit, his due for years. So it just blows my mind. I don't know what other people say on YouTube, but I guess I give Djokovic enough respect to where we become the most popular channel in Serbia, and they're dominating the Coffee Break audience. Now, where did we lose? We lost a lot from India. India used to be 7.4. They lost, what is that? What is the math on that? They lost like 30% of the audience here. So India is now 5.3% of the audience. That's because I don't think India, they really love Roger, and I don't think they are ready to take on Djokovic. They can't forgive me for that. But they know I appreciate Desi culture, so they still have me in their hearts at 5%. Croatia, Bosnia, and Herzegovina. Now these countries have joined the list. That is the effect of Novak Djokovic, and just me being a little bit honest. Last thing I'll leave you with. Tomorrow, I think Djokovic wins in 5 sets. Ponder on this. Lifetime, 12.3% females watch this. Very heavy male audience here at Coffee Break Tennis. But now, take a look at this. That number has gone up to 13.5%. And in the last 7 days, it's even higher. I think it's 14.5%. So something's happening here that the ladies like at Coffee Break Tennis. And I think we all know the answer. I'm getting more handsome. See ya!